Going live. Good evening. Welcome to the Green Lake Township Board of Trustees regular meeting, September 12th, 2023 at 5:30 PM. Judy, can you do a roll call, please?
Biondo.
Here.
West.
Here.
Kramer here. Biganowski.
Here.
Merrick.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
And Radke.
Present. Thank you. We have a quorum. Before we proceed to the next item, if you have any electronic devices, smart devices, et cetera, if you could put them on mute, that'd be greatly appreciated, or on vibrate. That. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Next item is the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions? Deletions from it? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by West. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Carried. Next item, the agenda is approval of the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of August 8th, 2023, treasury reports and bills. Any member of the public would like any item removed from the consent agenda? Any member of staff? Any member of this board? Hearing, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Kramer, supported by West, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
McDonald.
Yeah.
West.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
Biganowski. Kramer, yes. And Radke.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is a declaration of conflict of interest. Any member of this board have any conflict of interest of any item on our agenda? Declare it now. None declared. Thank you. Reports. Jennifer is here from GFA. She did the board's bidding as requested from previous meeting, sent out RFPs to have our roof redone at the Township Administrative Building. And we did receive 5 bids, of which Jennifer took the time yesterday afternoon, evening to review them for apples to apples. And I would like her to give a brief overview if it's at all possible. Jennifer?
Thank you, sir. Jennifer Graham, Gordy Frazier. In your packet, you guys should see a letter dated September 11th, actually, and I see 2022. So should say 2023, my error. Just a quick synopsis consistent with this board's discretion and approval from last meeting. I went ahead and prepared a request for proposal to solicit 2 qualified roofing contractors, which I did. At the onset, the biggest, I guess, point of it was to ensure that it was apples to apples. So not knowing the full circumstance condition of the roof, I put it out for bids as a complete removal replacement, knowing that there was some existing materials, existing insulation, all that was going to come off. And the contractor was required to install new 50 mil white Duralast 20-year membrane roof. Received a lot of interest. So that was exciting. So apparently roofing contractors are available for those of you on a personal note. Can't pay for others. Anyway, fortunately, one of them, local, and one of the bidders, Springfield, took it upon themselves at no cost. They came on and actually did an even more in-depth review, which I was extremely appreciative of, and did some core samples to really vet out and help guide and provide the most cost-effective proposal for you guys. So subsequent, they reached out to me and then I updated the proposal to relate what we call an addendum. So again, all the contractors are bidding the same thing. And basically the overall tone of that and what the core samples revealed, the offices themselves, that space, that insulation is wet and pretty junky, same thing with the roof. However, where the garages are, the insulation presented itself to be dry and in good working order. So that means where you can repurpose things, they definitely advocate that you repurpose. So that's what the addendum reflected, was to salvage what we could salvage. And so that also correspondingly provided a lot better bid prices for you guys in comparison to the quote that or project estimate I provided in August was originally around 170. So on the second page, you're going to see all the 5 respective bidders. We went through and made sure that they acknowledged the addendum that was issued. They provided the bid bond. They provided insurances. All of these, I even checked most of them for their references. Every one of them is well qualified and capable to do this work and provided the respective documents. We put it out for 2 alternatives with completion of November of this year and then forthcoming for May of the following year. That's the second alternative. So those are the prices you're seeing. I do want to make note, which is a little, I don't want to say unconventional, but as you can see from the letter, my recommendation is actually to not go with the low bidder. It was recommended to go with the local contractor, who's the second low. Again, because Springfield has, with you guys and with Gordy Frazier, whom we worked with, definitely demonstrated themselves to be have strong integrity, follow through, and they did. They did that extra step to go out, take those core samples, and help provide a better cost-effective solution, and they didn't have to do that. I think the biggest challenge with their bid, they're not available this year to complete the work, but talking with our supervisor and looking at the rooftop units that are up there, at least one of them is a situation that needs to be replaced, so that would buy the township some time to go through that exercise to replace one of those units. Otherwise, we would be under a pretty accelerated schedule to do that. So, but
And
I can entertain any questions you guys have for me.
I just want to reaffirm on Jennifer's recommendation is, last couple of years, we've had some issues with our roof leaking and that, we make the call to Springfield and they're here in 20 minutes. And it's being, the issue's been addressed, within the day. Ever since we've had a major roof leak that leaked onto our server, I believe it was, Paul, wasn't it? So they are Johnny on the spot. The low bidder is from Grant, which is south of Big Rapids, just a tad north of Sparta. Something of that nature there. So my concern would be the response time. I understand they're qualified in that, but 20 minutes versus 2.5 hours. And they've treated us very well in that respect there, and it's under $10,000 difference. Sir.
I do have a question, Jennifer. They did a core sample and they found a spot where they happened to dig was fine.
They
But-
did actually, but I believe
But,
a series of
so, but
6.
3 foot from where they were all of a sudden it's soaked and it's ruined the whole way. Are they guaranteeing a 7309 or will they come back to us and go, there needs to be more insulation than what we anticipated?
So there is that risk with any of the bidders that we would have received.
Mhm.
So basically, just as we know, when we're doing any renovations, you're gonna encounter some unknowns.
So this
So
isn't a set price of 7309 is the,
that's a great point and great question. So that is correct, is based on the core samples that we have in the representation, we were able to define the offices need complete insulation and roof replacement. However, the other side does not, but that doesn't mean once they expose everything that we may find some more wet insulation, which requires some more removal and replacement. But it is, it's a risk within those bids. So we put that ownership on them, not to absorb the costs, but to work with us in the township as we encounter things to look for that wet insulation and the breakdown of it and identify the areas that would need more replacement. But we're hopeful we won't.
thank you.
Good question.
And I think Springfield is scheduled to do do a roof review and patch October 1st, Roy? So, we've already had that scheduled,
Oh, great.
just for the reason that we do have leaks. So,
Marv, I'd like to make a motion, we go with Springfield Roofing to replace the roof at $73,009.
Support.
we have a motion by Merrick, supported by Baganowski to accept the bid of Springfield Roofing in the amount of $73,009. Any discussion on said motion?
Yes.
Sherry?
You have a completion date of May 30th of 2024. Just speaking to the Springfield, how soon would they actually be able to get at us?
Well, obviously, we're gonna wait on weather. They know they can't commit this year at all.
Right,
But definitely, I spoke with them, if weather conditions early in 2024 present themselves, they have flexibility to get it in sooner than.
like
we're-
March or?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Okay.
Or mentioned with them, one of their job kick, I guess, in their department, in their world, that they could sit there and jump on this as well.
But Marv,
So-
we also have to be ready for the HVAC units on that roof.
Yes, so
We can't be
that's-
too quick.
Yeah, so I did work with, Mary Jo. Okay, I didn't work with her. I made a request and Mary Jo did the work. We got a list of HVAC, commercial HVAC companies in our area. And we're gonna send out, an RFP for them to come and replace that, rooftop unit. It is recommended that we stick with a rooftop unit. It's more efficient, and, you know,
Cost
apparatus,
effective.
yeah, so we're gonna run with that. That was a freebie from Jennifer.
Could we scoot it down so it's not over my office?
Nope.
The
So-
white noise, it's great.
A good question, Sherry. Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Kramer, yes. Baganowski.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
West.
Yes,
Merrick.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yeah.
And Radke.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Jennifer.
With this.
Yep, now you're able to leave. Yep, I don't wanna pay you any more money. Yep. Next item on our agenda is a request from Chief Case. Ever since Chief Stenson left, retired, we do not have a fire inspector on staff. So Chief Case has indicated that he would like to become an inspector. He was hoping somebody else would, but, at this point in time, he was gonna take that task on, and he's making a request for, payment of the class. And he's included the information in the packet there.
And Marv, he is on a call right now.
Yeah.
So he knows he would be here to address it.
Yep.
Or if we now have an inspector in staff, does that impose any additional obligations that we have to do anything? With businesses or anything?
It doesn't impose anything, but it does give us authority in the event that we have to. Like,
This includes site plan review stuff, right?
no, it could, because we do have, that ability. But with the building department, they automatically do the plan reviews at their facility. At the, construction code office.
This would be more fire prevention with businesses going into, Dollar General and saying you need to get your stuff out of the way, quit using the extension cords. Why do you have something blocking your smoke detectors?
Yeah.
Gives a little bit more authority to do that than just.
Correct, instead of calling corporate and saying, hey, you got 7
The
days.
city has a rigid schedule, they inspect every business on a cycle.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just saying, we're not gonna get into that.
no,
I'll make a motion that we authorize the expenditure for Chief Case to attend a fire inspector one course.
that would include the 1,025 course program cost and a $399 exam fee, correct?
I'll
Okay.
second that.
We got a motion by Merrick, supported by West, to authorize Chief Case to pursue Fire Inspector 1 course at the above noted cost. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Call it money.
Aye.
I thought you spent money. Okay, never mind
We
that.
can roll.
It's a mistake.
I'm fine.
Nope.
It feels good.
7, 0, no nays.
So before you move on, is this something that's renewed every time? Or is it, once you got it, you got it?
You just gotta continue your CEUs, or the continuing ed.
You pay for that?
A lot of that's free as part of the program that we have.
And it's kinda nice that he's an instructor as well, so. That'll be part of it, yeah.
Well, let's go back with Dave, he's kind of got something that he's thinking about with it. If Chief Case gets this and then they ask him to go somewhere else, is he gonna get paid through that other somewhere else? Or is it gonna be at our expense that Chief Case is going to somewhere else and doing this?
This is an inspection that would be done by, we wouldn't loan out our chief for this. It's
No.
not like a fire investigator that's looking at why a fire started. It's going to a business like Joe's Hardware and looking to see if their building's safe. Is there fire hazards that need to be remediated? Like extension cords are a big, huge fire hazard. That's something investigators are looking for, or inspectors are looking for. Do they have operating exit lights, emergency warning lights? Do they have smoke detectors? Do they have extinguishers are up to date?
Yeah, like
Joe?
with, like,
Hmm.
yeah, like with the fire, or when they had to do inspections for liquor license and that, who we have years ago that used to do it here at the.
Paul,
Are you qualified still?
I'm very qualified.
Fire inspector too?
No, liquor.
Liquor.
no, the fire inspector would remain in-house, would not be called out.
Just
And if he-
something for us.
Yeah, if it was requested, we would, give them a estimated cost in that regards. The fire investigator could be called out if we were
The other
responding.
guy,
Yes, Joe,
Joe.
yep, yeah, Mr. Miracle. So,
So is this jurisdictional? Can you go anywhere in the state with this thing? Or is this national certification? Do you know?
It's a state certification, but whether or not you can go, I don't know if you're given the authority because you have it to go to a jurisdiction, or if they have to have a fair.
He stops for lunch in Claire and he finds that the gas station exit's blocked. Can he write a ticket?
that I'm not sure, that's why I was hoping the chief would be here.
I don't believe they have the authority to work outside of their jurisdiction without a mutual,
Mutual aid agreement,
that's the word, thank you, sir. But I can't say that for sure.
any other questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which would be reports. I don't see anybody from the road commission or the county commissioner. So with that, we'll continue on to public comments. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to the board. I would ask that you rise, go to the podium, say your name and address for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any member of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is postponed business. I'm not aware of any. Is any other board member aware of any? Hearing none, we'll continue on to new business. The first item under new business is Wayne Scott Warden refund request. That can be found in the board packet with the date of August 23 of 2023. The request is to refund $750 due to the fact that the township rezoned his property sometime between 2004 and 2006. He was not aware of that, and he would like to have his funds reimbursed for his request to amend his zoning on his subject property.
Yeah, I don't understand. Did he get notice, just not pay attention to it?
That's typically how it is if we go through a community zoning.
His property, within 300 feet, he should have got a notice. So he got it.
Yes,
He's not saying I didn't get notice. He says I didn't pay attention.
correct. He will, yeah. So, but he did go through the rezoning process to rezone the north half of his property. So, and he doesn't believe he should have had to pay to have his property rezoned to the zoning which he thought it was back in the 90s, I believe.
87.
Yeah, somewhere, yeah, something of that nature there, so.
I wasn't paying attention. The difference.
Yeah, well, this, it might have been through the era, remind me, Paul, if you can remember, we went through and made a zoning map changes, yeah, the whole board,
By distance.
yes,
Yeah, because he's got a need.
correct. We did that with Fun Country, we went through and got rid of the mild depth,
And some of them were next to residential.
yeah, so we went through and did that about that timeline, if I recall. I can't give you
Just
the
trying to
exact
think
year.
about it, I'm not sure it was at the same. I think it was.
Wasn't this when Leslie was here? And she-
Yes.
She started all of these and you had so many, R1s, R2s, et cetera, so much different zoning that she did. And you went through and you did the whole strip down, 31 up there, and you did it just as, zoning when we redid our master plan and our zoning. And I don't think anybody was notified of any of that.
Oh, it was public.
Just public hearings that we were gonna have it.
Published in the newspaper in accordance with the statute. I mean, the process went through the statute
Right,
requirements. Instead of an individual parcel being rezoned, where you have to notify everybody within 300
300
feet,
feet.
et cetera. We went through and did a map amendment that adjusted a couple dozen pieces.
Mr. Moore had to have this cross his mailbox twice. If he did a lot consolidation, that was the second bite at the apple.
Did he do a lot consolidation?
Read the thing, that's what it says.
No.
Meets and bounds, eh?
No, he did a lot consolidation, it states in.
So that was Coolman Hardware years ago, and then he's had it for years.
Alicia, could you
It doesn't say that.
elaborate on the question of consolidation by verbiage? Okay, so it was a meets and bounds lot line adjustment to incorporate that parcel. It wasn't a combination, which is typically done through plats or a site condo. Got it. Thank you. So the request is made before you. He doesn't believe he should have had to pay for a rezoning request when it was zoned way back when.
Mr. Can I ask it? So subsequent to all this, recently in last year, he went to the planning commission through the process.
Correct.
And they said, okay.
Yes.
So whatever infinite wisdom we had years ago changed our minds.
Correct. Times have changed in time.
Well, anybody idea what's, is it residential on the sides of them or forced ag or whatever it's called these days? It doesn't matter, I guess they already made the decision.
That is east side. section of this one.
But it's already been through the process of the change.
Correct.
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make a motion, we take no action this time.
We have a motion by Merrick. Is there any support? Support by Baganowski to take no action. Any discussion?
I would just say that, like I said, if it wasn't involved, I mean, he did go through the process. It sounds like it's under contract or what? Is that what he said in his letter?
It's sold.
Oh, it's,
Yes.
and it's already a done deal. He just wants his money back. And I personally have a wish back.
Okay. Any other discussion?
The point that I'm fine with it, that's funny, is he's paid commercial, or business taxes on it all this time. So that would make me think that if I'm paying business taxes or rate or zone business, that I'm commercial, not R1.
Yeah, and that's the thing
He
we
was never homesteaded on it, was he? Or
Well, he's
anything
got a
like
trailer
that?
back there. Someone's been living in that trailer.
Yeah,
As a rental, maybe.
yeah. Oh, he did live there before it was somebody's sister that was there because they tried doing that as a, marijuana facility. Okay, and it was what, short?
So I do remember this, is that if your assessment says commercial, well, it's just the assessed value from the assessor.
Correct, the assessment class versus zoning class are two distinct, they are not interlinked, it's the use that's being assessed. And the zoning is what the allowed uses could be. But the assessing is the highest and best use pursuant to the state tax commission manuals. Plural. So we have a motion by Merrick, supported by Bagnell, to take no action on said request. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
No.
McDonald,
No.
Viganowski, West,
No.
Kramer, yes. Radke,
Yes.
motion carried, 4-3.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is the resolution number 09-122-023.1 for shared voting. I'm gonna pass the next couple items on to Judy to give an explanation because of, what we, the people, voted in. Judy, carry on.
So, after much discussion between the clerks, the state of Michigan, my deputy clerk and myself, we have decided that we would like to be in charge of our own voting, and become a voting site, early voting site. We had discussed possibly having 5 voting sites around Grand Traverse County where voters could go to any of those sites and vote. However, that would kind of take the voting out of the clerk's hands. And I feel that's part of our job, that's what we're voted by the people to run our elections. The people trust us to run the elections, and so we wanted to be in charge of running our own early voting site. So the first resolution is the board authorizing the clerk to actually have an early voting site in our township. It'll be effective for August of 2024 is when this all starts. So that's what I'm asking for the first one. It's just authorizing and approving Pam and I to do an early voting site.
We only have two choices here. We have to do our own or join with someone else. We're doing our own, that's this motion.
Correct.
This is one location, so all polling places will come to the township hall for that, correct? Thank you.
Township Hall or 9700 Riley Road.
We're gonna be at Township Hall, it's gonna be 93, 94, 10th Street.
Okay.
We'll have to have just one voting center open. We have to have at least 3 workers for the 9 days of early voting. Our hours are going to be from 9 AM until 5 PM for those 9 days of early voting.
9 consecutive.
9 to what?
9 to 5.
5. And this is in person only, not dropped off to the vote.
Well, absent voter ballots now can also be run through the tabulator for early voting. So if you get an absentee ballot and you want to run it through the tabulator, then you're allowed to do that.
You have to walk in and do it.
Mhm.
It's not a-
And you have to be the person whose name and signature are on that ballot. A husband can't come in and run his wife's ballot.
Sorry, I mean, I read through some of this, I've heard about a lot of it, but for new election laws for idiots. So this is voted in, this is what's gonna happen, and I think it's probably a good choice. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be more security, more expense, certainly, because there's extra 9 days, is that what it is?
Yes.
The main election. It is, so it is for the primary and the general and for school?
It's not for school elections, it will just be for state and federal elections. It will not be school elections. School elections will be run the same way they currently are being run.
So that's.
And I do see up at the top, I see why you're confused.
No,
Because when Brian did the, oh, that's fine.
yep, that was fine. I was just double checking here because we're potential of 15,000.
15,000 voters, which we'll get into for the next thing that we're gonna vote on. So this is basically the board allowing us to set up an early voting site.
Does this have an ending term, or is it until we revoke?
It'll be forever because it's now state law.
If we decide to go with the county, then do something else.
We'll have to work with the county in that regards there. And as far as the August, there is still discussion amongst the representatives that they're gonna discuss it here later this month and may change the primary potentially to June or May.
Of next year?
Yes.
Starting next year. And as far as starting next year and then moving forward, that would be the new schedule.
Oh, yeah.
As of right now, too, they have not set the presidential primary date, so I do not know. Excuse me, it's either going to be February 27th or March 2nd. They haven't officially set a date yet for that either.
So, would this include president primary?
No. This will not start until August
Yes.
or June.
Yeah, wherever the primary is gonna be held at.
Primary.
I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, I'm sure it's important.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 09122023.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt resolution 09122023.1 by Merrick, supported by West. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, Biganowski.
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yeah.
and Radke.
Yes, 7 ayes. Declare the motion adopted, or the resolution adopted. The next item on our agenda is to approve the agreements for shared voting, resolution number 09122023.2, establishing.
Nope.
Oh, sorry, I went too far.
So
Approve the
We-
agreements.
Grant Township, we had planned we would take them along with us, to kind of help them financially because they don't have the means and the location to hold 9 days of early voting. Once Pam and I made that decision, then we were approached from Long Lake Township and also from Mayfield Township. So in discussing the situation with our attorneys, the attorney came up with these early voting site agreements between Green Lake Township and each of these entities. Pam and I sat down and did some figuring as to how much it was going to cost us, wear and tear in our machines, wear and tear in our building, et cetera, et cetera. So we have put in the contract that we would like each of these townships to pay us $500 for every election that they utilize us as their early voting site.
And poll workers, 8 hours a day, 9 days, you got all that up, it's not gonna cover it.
We don't pay for their workers, they are going to provide 1 to 2 workers, they pay their own workers, and we pay our own workers. So the only thing that we will be, we will be getting the machines, we will be providing the supplies, like the tapes and everything that's needed for the machines. We provide a lunch usually. So each township will be paying their own employees, and the agreement will be that they have to provide 1 to 2 employees every day of early voting.
That's not it.
It is in another agreement that's going to come to the board that I have to get approval from Brian.
Any other questions, Paul?
Yeah, so as I look through these individually, so we would, have Mayfield. I see Doug Moore's signature, so, and Long Lake, and anybody else.
That's it. In Green
Now,
Mountain.
So amongst the entire county, did they? How many others are doing this?
Eastern Township has agreed to take on Peninsula Township, Whitewater Township, Acme Township, Union Township, and themselves. The Garfield Township has chosen to go by themselves because they're such a big entity. Blair Township, I don't know why, Mayfield chose us instead of them, I don't know why. So it looks like Blair is probably going to be on their own. Paradise Township has decided to go on their own. Five Lake Township right now hasn't decided what they're doing.
Yeah,
So there's gonna be, they're considering East Bay Township is going to be the east voting, early voting site. And then Green Lake Township will be the west voting site. And then you can see in the contracts that there is an out if we find that it's not working, or if the township decides, you know, there is a bigger interest than what we thought there was going to be, we would like out. They've got a 90-day notification to be able to get out of the contract and then with themselves. Long Lake Township will probably be the first one that will go. She just wasn't sure how many voters she would have. She didn't know if she would have the helpers. So they wanted to try it for, you know, one voting season to see how it works out.
wasn't she appointed, she hasn't run through a big election?
Correct.
So, and Fight Lake is holding off, their supervisor submitted resignation effective end of this month. So they're in the middle out there in that regard.
Really good.
And Grant Township, their clerk just split, so that was another reason why we wanted to work with them. They've got a brand new clerk who has never been there. Mayfield Township, their clerk just turned in her resignation, so it will be a new clerk for them too, so. I guess I kind of feel honored that I think they're coming from, was wanting to come to Green Lake.
Just commenting and asking because of the dynamics, I'm sure you've been involved. This,
Judy, tell me about this other agreement that's.
It's just an agreement that it goes into a little bit further depth as to, like, you know, who will be in charge of the qualified voter file, Pam and I will, that who is the coordinator of the elections and who will be putting the notices out, who does, you know, the breakdown, and then it has a breakdown in there as to, you know, how many, you know, that they agree that they will provide workers and for us, so that we don't have to provide all workers. It also states in there that they agree that they will pay their workers so that we don't get into an overtime situation of having to pay wages for workers. So it's, I've been working on it today, it's about 6 pages long. So it'll be coming to the board in October for approval.
This has been an interesting travel of knowledge, I guess.
The only reason we're having two is because the state law said these people have to declare one way or another by a drop dead date, which is coming up, right?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for shared voting with, as presented.
All three of them?
All three of them.
We have a motion by Merrick to adopt the agreements for all three.
Long Lake,
Greenfield,
Grant.
yes.
Thank you.
For,
And authorize the supervisor to sign them with their supervisors.
Absolutely.
Yes, we have support by Magnowski. Good catch on that. Sherry, any other discussion? Hearing none, I'd like to have this in a roll call, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski,
yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Consider them adopted.
And then just to kind of give you a heads up that there's probably going to be some other things that are coming down the road as the state, you know, there's kind of, the legislature's just gonna be getting back together and getting some more rules and regulations in order. I'm gonna try not to have to call special meetings, but we're to the point now where, there's some drop dead dates, in September that need to be completed.
Election related?
Yes, and also in October. So hopefully we can, the clerks are trying to work it out so that we can bring them to our board meetings and not have to do special meetings, but there might be something down the pipe.
Okay.
And then with that being said, we also did, the state has provided a grant, state grant for this new early voting. So the county clerk did a poll of all the clerks, asked what we needed for equipment. The grant was submitted to the state of Michigan on Friday, and it is a grant to cover, help pay the workers for the 2024 early voting elections. New equipment we all are gonna need tabulators and express votes, storage containers, new laptop, because we'll have a separate laptop. Things like, if you needed to have, like some of the townships don't have internet, and they're gonna have to spend money to get internet. So that grant was submitted on Friday, so we should be hearing, probably the first part of November if we're gonna be awarded. That grant
It
was-
goes to the county, not the townships?
And then, yeah, then what we'll do, the township will buy the equipment, submit the receipt to the county and get reimbursed from the county for the funds. So the funds will go, directly to the county. So there's a, there's a possibility that we can get our machines and everything paid for. The state is only willing to pay $15 an hour. We will lose $5 a person, an hour on that because we pay more than 15.
Just a little follow-up. I believe up here, most communities are gonna go with 9 days. There are communities in the southern part of the state that are gonna go 30 days
They can go up to 29.
or 29 days.
But they did have, Pam attended last Thursday, we did have a focus group with the state of Michigan. They brought the clerks and deputy clerks together to kind of get our opinion on how to get all of this implemented. And it kind of sounds like most of the clerks down the state have decided it's going to be too expensive to do 29 days of early voting, so it looks like we're gonna all consistently do a 9-day.
Good. Yeah, so no, early on, they were talking.
Yeah, they wanted to do
Strike. Yeah. Okay, thank you. With that, on to the next item on our agenda, which would be the resolution 09-122-023.2 to establish an intermunicipality committee and through the TTCI for the Traverse Transportation Coordinating Initiative, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. Andy is our rep to this particular group. Andy, do you have any light you'd like to shed on this resolution?
It's just a resolution that we had met originally, we had a resolution to allow us to explore it. We had some meetings, we talked about it. I believe we passed a resolution to be part of it. They needed a specific one worded this way to meet the state's requirements to get the funding. So this is more housekeeping, yes, we want to do that.
Right, good, that's how I understood it, I wanted to hear it from you.
Did we get a set of finalized bylaws that we didn't have before? This refers to bylaws as attached to. Did we get
They
it?
have the bylaw.
It's finalized, because last time we worked, I wouldn't mind that getting shuffled around too.
Okay, I can send it to you.
They approved those today. That was in that packet that we got sent for the meeting today.
And this particular resolution is one that got overlooked. They didn't send it to us back when they should have, because it should have been done at the beginning. And so we're just kind of going back and getting caught up.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 09-122-023.2 to establish intermunicipality committee.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Biondo, to adopt resolution 09-122-023.2. Any discussion, Jerry?
No.
Paul?
Yes, just curious, Andy, so since we first started this, was there a couple of townships weren't on board, did any other or cities, did somebody?
County Road Commission
So
wasn't
the
it?
County Road Commission are trying to flex their muscle and be strong like they were with MDOT.
and they wanted more votes than the rest of us, and they didn't get that, but they joined.
Oh,
Because they also realized that they wouldn't, if they weren't part of it, they wouldn't get the money, and they're the big recipient of the money.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Never that bad.
Right, thing to do.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
McDonald, Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. West.
Yes.
And Radke.
Yes, declare the resolution adopted. The next item on our agenda would be ordinance number 09122023.3, the nuisance ordinance, which is followed by the dangerous structure ordinance and the short-term rental ordinance. Though these are all in our packet, we do have Alicia here to refine the written documents that we received. Is anybody interested in having her give us a synopsis, or is there?
One question.
Yes, sir.
The dangerous building ordinance, this is gonna replace the statutory process that we've used for 30 years of getting a hearing officer and all that? So, you got my question. So we're not doing the statutory process anymore. Totally eliminated that, but you don't know? Totally replaced. We cannot use the statutory process anymore, once we have this. The one we've been using for 30 years.
It seems to refer to that.
The state, that's what we've been using for years. Which is the state. So we no longer have a local hearing officer that decides whether it's dangerous or not, it goes to the judge. Well, he becomes the prosecutor, but in the state process, he's the judge. We've done this a bajillion times.
Yes,
So this is a totally different process, we're
Correct.
abandoning the state law process.
But
correct.
go to Article 10 on this, the injunction relief. Doesn't that say the township still does it, can do it?
We can make that request.
So it wouldn't eliminate it all?
We always make that request, it's just one type of relief we get, now we get it from court instead of our own jurisdiction basically.
Yeah. Currently, I'm an ordinance enforcement hearing officer for other communities. And instead of the big hammer at my table, this will go to the court system, which is a lot easier on the hearing officer. If that makes any sense. You'll still have one.
But didn't the board have a role under the state process? So the board had final say. The board will be totally eliminated under this one.
Add a clause, we can use state statute or.
I don't know.
It reveals it all.
We haven't really looked through all that.
Mark, this is a lot of information to take in on this, and there's
Like Brian,
some deep discussions that need to happen. We should probably have, as Dave alluded to, our attorney present to answer questions we may have on this that I don't even know what to ask at this point. I'd like to make a motion to postpone this until at least January meeting. The short-term rental ordinance hasn't been in place for a year, and just last month we voted not doing, or we took no action on a request to look at the pod ordinance because we wanted to look at it for a year. I think we should be consistent in that and see how it plays out. I haven't heard any major issues with the short-term rental ordinance that need to be addressed. The letter that's written here, it says, improve penalty section, but it doesn't tell us how it's improved. It removes license suspension, but we had a long discussion during that process. That was something we wanted to be able to do. And modify the well and septic, and I don't understand all that it's doing and how that to be played out. It's been kind of busy in the office this month with taxes coming due, so I couldn't really look into this as well as I'd like to make an educated and appropriate decision before we're putting an additional onus on our residents or property owners to, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, I'm just saying I haven't had the opportunity as a board member to do my proper due diligence. I think taking some time would be appropriate.
But we're talking about, it's three different, talking about three different issues. Dave's talking about the nuisance ordinance, now you're into the short term.
All three of
Let's
them.
do once.
I wanted to postpone all three of them until January. That's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to postpone action on ordinance 09-122-023.3, 09-122-023.4, and the short-term rental ordinance. Is that correct?
That is what my motion is correct.
Is that what you understand, Pat?
Till January meeting. Yep. I
We
want to
have a
look at
lawyer
it.
here.
And I would like to have the attorney present, so we can ask him questions about that we may have come up with. There's a lot to digest in this, and I want to be able to compare our current ordinance to the proposed ordinance. I want to look at some of the definitions a little bit better about what they mean and what the implications on our residents could be. For example, it says compost pile can't be visible for the neighbor's property. How do you, there's a lot, we could go through this and tear it apart. If we have some time to properly digest this, I think I could make a better, more informed decision.
We have a motion, we have support. Any further discussion, Paul?
Yeah, I might also add, which there is a lot here, it looks real good, but I might say, might we even workshop this a little ahead of time to pick, I mean, because Brian, we may schedule a meeting with Brian, and we might want to hit a few different. That's just a thought, you know, maybe we could do a workshop at some point, maybe during maybe I could announce. Sure, you wouldn't have anything else, but you know, something maybe prior to that.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, like, first of all, I want to take this off this agenda and move it to January. If you want to make a motion to a workshop, come up with time, I'd be willing to.
Well, it's just a thought that there's a lot, sounds like a lot of people.
Get our questions all in first so that we give them to Brian at a meeting.
Or we could
Email in
we
advance.
could be proactive and send it to him ahead of time, so when he comes to the meeting, he had the answers. Being proactive, come on now. Okay, any other discussion, Pat?
Ordinance eliminating paragraph 3G regarding having to keep your sheds locked up, etc.
I think that you opened up a lot of things. I haven't been able to digest this properly.
Quite a bit, I think that we need to probably restate.
Paragraph can't store your docks or your dock sections outside anymore.
And we can't go with the whole either.
Okay, so
Maybe consider longer time periods for L to get your.
So what I'm gathering is, we can call the question because there's quite a bit of questions on the ordinance. Point taken, Pat, you expressed why we're taking it off. The motion has been made. Any other discussion? So there was a motion made to remove these three items from the agenda and bring them back with the attorney present at our January meeting. It was supported by McDonald. Is that correct? Everybody understand that? With that being said, no further discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, this hasn't happened in a while to me. We're done with new business. 6:30, wow. Next item on our agenda is discussion. Judy, would you like to make some comments on upcoming events that might be transpiring that
Yes.
You're excited to vote?
He
So
started
just a
turning all over.
reminder that Saturday is cleanup day from 8 to noon. So I'd like to see all your smiling faces there. I'll have donuts and water.
You said donuts?
Donuts.
Yes.
And then, starting October 2nd, that week is when, Mayor Connor and Nick Shep will be in our offices to do the, annual audit.
Absolutely, yes.
And then he will be able to give a report to the board at the 11 board meeting. I had handed out insurance information for you guys to review. It's for the 24, the year of 2024 health insurance. I am going to have, or I have already, invited Tom Armentrout to be here at the October board meeting. So if you have any questions, we could be proactive and send them to him ahead of time so that he could be prepared when he comes, or you can ask him the night of. And then on September 25th, September 25th, which is a Monday at 4:30 p.m. We
Rain or
will be,
shine.
rain or shine. We will be holding the ribbon cutting ceremony for the fitness court with Priority Health. And got some fun things lined up. We're going to be doing some competitions between the fire department and possibly the police department or employees. And so it should be fun. So mark your calendars. Monday, September 25th.
Probably no donuts on it.
4:30.
You'd be
Hey,
right.
Derek, been training already, went down there today. Get prepared for
We
it.
were down there today and also did pickleball, I think, too.
Oh, is there any other discussion? Pat?
Done, but if there's a video to go along with the fitness sport, you can put it on your phone.
Yep.
Put that on our website, people that aren't that savvy.
Barcode?
Just the video, so that it just shows you how to, yeah, we can post it on our website. People can go there, you can see how.
To use the equipment.
Yeah, as soon as I get technical savvy to where I can sit there and take a picture and transfer it into the website and have it engaged. Oh,
It goes through and explains and shows you how to use it.
yeah.
So for those who do want to go down and try it, if you take your cell phone down and you actually tap the barcode, it's gonna go ahead and let you download an app. And then the app is gonna take you through and tell you what to do on each area of the court. It actually, we found out today, we didn't know it, but it actually tracks everything that you do on there too. A couple of our firefighters have the app on their phones and they've been down there utilizing.
So yes, I will do that. Pat, sounds
Physical
good.
tracks, government tracks.
Where'd the government?
Welcome. Any other discussion? Anybody have any correspondence?
I've got a discussion, I just found it. How is the, treatment on Cedar Hedge Lake, Duck Lake, and Duck Lake, Green Lake, Cedar Hedge, how's it doing for the milfoil?
Cedar,
Is it just about gone?
Cedar Hedge Lake, did not have any treatment, this spring, because there was nothing of substance there, the new
They
chemical.
did that good last year,
Yes.
they didn't have to treat it, okay.
Correct. Duck Lake, there was some expanded zones and a couple acre increase. So we'll be conversing with them if they could use the new stuff, which is a little bit more costly, in that regards there. There's, yeah. Yep, and there's some yellow flower, looks like tulips, they're yellow flower that are considered invasive that they found in Duck Lake and on the shores of Green Lake. So TLM's gonna take a look at them as part of their observation of invasive species. I just received an email today from Bree of PLM. They're a suspect that, Lake Duvernay has Eurasian water invasive Eurasian water milfoil that's been found in that, and there's a request from, I can't remember the property owner's name, to have that tested to ensure that it is in fact invasive.
So Cedar Hedge, great job last year when they
Yes.
tested. They didn't do it this spring, and then they're gonna test again this fall.
They just did surveys last Friday, so it should be here probably Monday.
See if anything during summer. there's
We'll
nothing
get
else.
summer on that, then we'll have a real idea
Correct.
of that stuff working.
Yeah, so just a heads up that we may be approached. If that's the case, I'm gonna engage with the state of Michigan because the primary launch is through their campground. Boat launch. This is the state of Michigan campgrounds, so I'll be working diligently with them. Because if not, it's gonna be a very costly treatment plan for the minimal parcel along the east, southeast side to the northeast side.
Doesn't the state almost line around it?
Yeah. So, Dave,
You gave us a report on the dam, the water levels of Green Lake and Duck Lake. Now that's not our jurisdiction anymore, that's the county board of commissioners.
Andy Smith's, correct?
So it refers to here that they're asking for an amended order, 2017 order. Do you know what they want to amend?
From my understanding, they want the lake level. Cedar Hedge Lake wants it raised because it's costing them a lot more money to extend their dock. The stream connecting from Cedar Hedge to Green Lake is awful high, so they want that lowered. And with Duck Lake, it was way too high last year. This year it's too low. So they had to reposition their hoist and their dock.
So who's petitioning, it says the board of commissioners is gonna petition the court to set a different level.
Yes, and that's where the people have approached Andy, well, it was the person before Andy. Steve Largent, yes. He started the process of having the order amended to be more flexible.
Resident.
Yeah, the residents.
Do we care, or just let the residents fight it out with board of commissioners?
Doesn't it back up?
Yeah.
Well, the whole lake's in a township.
Yeah, we're the conduit, I mean, and if the residents there enabled their public hearing process, because they gotta notify everybody, I think they had to notify 715 different individuals on that particular one, and they're working with the state, because Grass Lake, they have a dam there, so they're gonna be blocking that off, so they can dredge that out to have more wetland, or more water area, less wetland area to begin with, which is an impact from Duck Lake to Green Lake, Grass Lake.
The Duck Lake Peninsula Shores Associations. They got a ring here, you know what they want? They're probably the head hitter here, right?
Yes, and I met with them Saturday afternoon. They invited me to their association meeting. It was quite nice. Everything's going on at, and they have, apparently there's some environmental engineers that live on the peninsula, and they've been doing a lot of the background homework themselves. So they have not came forward and made a request to the town. Yes, well, this has been going on since Steve Largent, so since before 2020.
The district is 17.
Correct. And there was a question on how that district was formed.
You just have to listen.
So that's where we're at. Yes, I will keep you informed and update on that once I hear more, as I believe Andy's gonna be coming to one of the meetings. Oh, MTA chapter meeting here in the near future. Any other discussion?
It's an emergency vehicle. Park over the weekend, anything criminal or?
You mean the bike ride?
Parking, drive. Oh, the park, sorry.
So, and Chief Case, glad you made it back safe. Thank you for your service. Just an FYI, I'm sure you're already aware that we did approve your class and your testing as well. So good luck. Yes, please go to the podium, sir.
Requirements of the fire service, so we're handling the fire permit in-house, your department training will now qualify it as follow over the year. But they also added additional hours on for officers and additional hours for our inspectors. Inspectors have always had, including then, military available for any kind of year. We actually have goal this year at Park Place Traverse Cities. And so
This is annual, every year, but it's-
our tenants are that time you every year and three, which that's what she's factors every year. For all factors and they both time just to figure their guys for it. So here's some more crap.
we listen to the phone to our meeting, so you can write a question.
Or you sit next to Alicia, one of the two.
Okay, are you eligible to leave our jurisdiction and do inspections? We rent you out, and how's it work?
Well, I mean, I said I'm authority out of jurisdiction. So I've done inspections here, I've done violations here. And kind of the background besides knowledge of fire service. So I've been talking on other inspectors in the county, because of my relationship with them. Hey, man, we have the fire ordinance, and that's what gives authority to.
So you go to Buckley or Cadillac do this?
Program, and plus you basically walks you through the internet environment.
You can go to Claire, Cops and Donuts, and issue a closure if need be.
The chief is the authority, the chief, but he grants that to his inspectors. That we're making he. But yeah, the authority of jurisdiction can issue those violations, but this would give credential where you get that, where, I mean, I don't know, look at our ordinance, but the important is also,
You'll just explain it's redundant for the chief.
The certification to give you some teeth.
If it goes to court.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know that you had it. I didn't mean to take, sir.
So Dave's question was, if you were driving down the road, you stopped, you gas at the gas station, you saw a violation, you write or ticket for it. So you gotta be invited into there and give them that.
He would handle all these things. Back in the day, you guys adopted ordinance. You had it out ordinance. Commercial businesses had to work out there, you know, smoke detectors and fire alarms and egress pathways and lighting and all that kind of stuff.
well, we asked that question, the city has a schedule, they visit all businesses, there's no obligation for us to do any of that.
I've done, so I, church,
Redeemer?
really. Yeah, the common thing, like I just mentioned, it's all that. There is a overhead and kitchen, and then I wrote them up, I created a form and said, hey, here's, you guys need groups. Say, and again, not, I didn't give them any power, they invited me. Our ordinance follows us, it's authority, we don't want to, like I did without the council. Department, getting it free, went in, did inspection, wrote down a violation notice. Then we got this much time, we get problems, we got in the back. We'll go from there. And they can't, they take care of it. So, you know, right now, I'm just being granted, it would be nice to inspect all. Makes it safe for the community. It actually reduced my for that. I mean, the owners, because they know they were getting fined and fired. And then, they do that on an annual basis and, staffing and training people to do that. And our commercial, we're not that big. A lot of growth, it's not really our. 3 full time, staff to do those ones. He's big or and come to. So you've got one. But they, that was plan review, and it's part of that, how the public parks are plan review process, all, and they handle, that was awful. Especially from like, they came, back to the fire station, we have our practice. With that. So, we plan review, how we handle that, through Metro for us. Yeah, we place. Who that should be able to do.
Any other questions, comments for Chief Case? Any other questions or comments from Chief Case?
Take our one there, with fireworks, thermal games, that for hot spots, that there's one of that. Grass, you come in, girls with that. Sunday. Then I'll be our stand. So then it's secure grass.
Thank you. Any other discussion or correspondence? Hearing none, this is another opportunity for public comment. Again, I'd ask that you rise or this podium, state your name and address of residence, and limit your comments to the board under 3 minutes. Master plan? I'm not sure about problem. I know it took time to accumulate the information that was presented, and I believe we have a draft that will be coming forward to the planning commission. Some of it's come to the planning commission at this point in time, and now I believe they're in the final stages. I do have information of someone that might be more knowledgeable. That is, that'd be Alicia. Alicia, do you have any response to that?
Will incorporate planning commission
people around as well. At that meeting, planning, Dr. Noble, he gave it from all the funds that we see and all the good, we can planning commission. Now, we'll be meeting in November for further discussion. There will be additional public hearing in the future. Will be public.
So, for those that are watching live or will be watching later, October 23rd is the tentative information gathering date and time to coordinate and input all the comments that we received from the joining agencies, assemble it, bring it back in November for the planning commission to review and make adjustments where they might be, then post special or post for a public hearing at a date after that, whether it be in December or January. Yes, this is public comment. I don't like interrupting you, so my apologies on that. But the Green Lake Duck Lake Association has submitted grants for at least 2 washing stations to be utilized, and trying to work with the state park to place one at the state park and to place one off Betsy River Road, that launch over there.
Because we don't own a single one.
Correct.
Long Lake owns 2.
Correct. But no, so we've been working with them and giving them letters of support on behalf of the Green Lake Duck Lake Association to install boat washing stations. We did put up, they received a $7,000 grant, put up signs at all the boat launches, warning and asking and requesting that they check their motor, their trailer, et cetera, so those, our signs are out there. Month and a half ago, was it right? Yeah, Mr. Ed Dewey, who was the president at that time, had that done. Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:47.
So
We have a motion by McDonald, supported by Kramer, to adjourn this meeting at 6:47. All in favor indicate by saying aye.